Hello my friend, in this video I am comparing the Blackview BV7100 with the Ulefone Power Armor 14 Pro to see which is the best rugged smartphone for you. Now this one was a request by one of my subscribers, so this video goes out to my friend Zero. I hope you like this video. If you have a request for my next comparison video, let me know in the comments below. Now make sure to watch this one until the end guys, because both of these phones do have some great features, but they also have some drawbacks that might be deal breakers for you. But do not worry, because I'm going to sort it out for you right now. Let's take a quick look at both of these phones and then we will jump into the side-by-side comparison. Now I think you will be surprised which one comes out on top. First up is the BV7100. Released on September 30th, 2022, this monster of a rugged phone actually comes in 3 different colors. You can get orange, black, or green, which is kind of unusual, but that's pretty cool. Its corners are made of industrial rubber, the power button doubles as a fingerprint sensor, and like many other rugged phones, it features a customizable button. The battery is one of the largest you will find in a rugged phone, which we will talk more about later in the comparison. It does include NFC and a special glove mode, so you can use it while you're wearing gloves. You can record video in 2K at 30 FPS, and the back of the case has a hole at the bottom where you can hook it to a lanyard so you can attach it to your backpack. Now let's take a very quick look at the Power Armor 14 Pro. Keep watching, because right after this I'm going to go into the side-by-side comparison and you do not want to miss anything that is coming up. Released in March of 2022, the Ulefone Power Armor 14 Pro also features a monstrously large battery size that is not quite as large as the BV7100's battery, but as we will see in the comparison, it actually lasts a little bit longer in certain situations. It has a rigid plastic body and soft, shock-absorbing TPU bumper wrapping to protect the corners. It also includes NFC, a customizable button, and a power button that doubles as a fingerprint sensor. You can buy an add-on customized case for even more protection, and the extra case also includes a heavy-duty carabiner and a belt clip, which is a bit better than the hook hole on the BV7100, but you do have to pay extra for this in the Power Armor 14 Pro. Now, let's see how these phones do when we compare them side by side, starting with screen size. Blackview wins this with a screen size of 6.58 inches. Ulefone has a slightly smaller screen size of 6.52 inches. Display type. Now this one is a tie because both phones have an IPS display. Screen resolution. Blackview wins this with a screen resolution of 2408 by 1080 FHD+. Ulefone has a screen resolution of 720 by 1600 HD+. Military standard rating. Blackview wins this with a higher military standard rating of military standard 810H. Ulefone has a lower rating of military standard 810G. Waterproofing. This one is a tie because they are both IP68 and IP69K waterproof up to 1.5 meters deep in water for 30 minutes. Drop proofing. According to Ulefone, their phone is drop proof up to 1.5 meters or about 5 feet. Now Blackview does not specifically give a height for drop proofing, but if we go by both phones' military standard rating, that would mean that Blackview wins this one. The Blackview has military standard 810H rating, which means it can survive a fall of 5 feet onto steel-backed concrete, while the Ulefone's military standard 810G rating means it can survive a fall of 4 feet onto 2-inch thick plywood with a concrete backing. CPU. This is also a tie. They both have MediaTek Helio G85 chipsets with octa-core processors running at up to 2 GHz. GPU. It's another tie. They both have ARM Mali G52s running at up to 1 GHz. Operating system. Now this one is personal preference, it's up to you. The Ulefone runs Android 12, while the Blackview runs their own Doogee OS 3.0, which is based on Android 12. So again, it's up to you whether you want the Doogee or you want the standard Android 12. 5G connectivity. It's another tie because neither phone has 5G connectivity. RAM. These phones both have 6 GB of RAM, but the Blackview wins because it can be expanded with an additional 4 GB of RAM, giving it a total of 10 GB of RAM. Ulefone does offer an upgraded model of the Power Armor 14 Pro that comes with 8 GB of RAM. Check the description for a link to this phone if you'd like to check that out. Internal storage. It is another tie. Both phones have 128 gigabytes internal storage and both can be expanded up to 1 terabyte. Rear camera. Now we're about to get in some serious details here. The Blackview has a triple rear camera, with the main camera being a 12 megapixel AI with Sony IMX362 sensor, plus an 8 megapixel 117 degree ultra wide camera with macro, plus a 2 megapixel depth camera. Now the Ulefone has a triple rear camera, with its main camera being a 20 megapixel AI with Sony IMX350 sensor, plus a 2 megapixel macro camera, plus a depth sensor with megapixels that Ulefone doesn't specify. Now, let's compare some more specific details of these cameras, starting with the main camera sensor type. Ulefone wins this with its backside illuminated BSI CMOS that makes it easier for light to reach the sensor, which should result in better images. The Blackview uses a CMOS sensor. Now let's talk about main camera sensor size in diagonal. Blackview wins this one because its IMX362 sensor is 1 by 2.55 inches or 7.06 millimeters. Ulefone's IMX350 sensor is smaller, with a diagonal measurement of 1 by 2.78 inches or 6.48 millimeters. Image resolution. Ulefone wins this with 20 megapixels at 5184 by 3880 pixels. Blackview has 12.2 megapixels at 4032 by 3024 pixels. Video resolution. Blackview wins this with 3.69 megapixel video at 2560 by 1440 pixels. Ulefone's video is 2.07 megapixels at 1920 by 1080 pixels. Main camera aperture. Ulefone wins this with an f-stop of f1.8, which will allow more light to hit the sensor. Blackview's main camera aperture is f2. Main camera pixel size. Blackview wins this with a pixel size of 1.4 micron, which captures twice the light of Ulefone's 1 micron pixel size. Flash. Blackview wins this with its dual LED flash. Ulefone has a single LED flash. What about front camera? Ulefone wins this with its 16 megapixel front camera with the Sony IMX481 sensor. Blackview has an 8 megapixel front camera with the Samsung S5K487 sensor. Battery size. Blackview easily wins this with its monstrous 13,000 mAh battery. Ulefone has a 10,000 mAh battery. Okay, but what about how much runtime do you get for your calls? I thought Blackview would win this since its battery is much larger, but actually Ulefone wins this with a calling time of 54 hours on a full charge. Blackview gives you only 50 hours calling time per charge. Okay, how about runtime in standby? Now Blackview does win this one by a wide margin with 1,152 hours of standby. Ulefone gives you 540 hours of standby. Wireless charging. Ulefone wins this with 15-watt wireless charging. Now the Blackview does not provide wireless charging at all. Fast charge. Blackview does win this with 33-watt fast charge. Ulefone has a fast charge of 18 watts. Reverse charging. This is a tie because both phones do offer reverse charging. SIM cards. This is also a tie because both phones can run dual SIM cards or one SIM and one micro SD card. Navigation support. This is another tie. Both phones have support for GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, and Bidot. Weight. Ulefone wins this with a lighter weight of 358 grams. Blackview has a heavier weight of 460 grams. Size. Blackview wins this with a slightly smaller size of 174 millimeters high by 81.4 millimeters wide. Ulefone has a size of 175.6 millimeters high by 82.5 millimeters wide. Thickness. Ulefone wins this with a thickness of 17.2 millimeters. Blackview is 18.9 millimeters thick. 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Ulefone wins this because it does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Blackview does not have a headphone jack. Price. Blackview wins this with a lower price of $240 on Blackview's website or $190 on AliExpress. Ulefone has a price of $260 on Ulefone's website or $240 on AliExpress. Now click the links in the description below to get the lowest price and check the most current price. These phones actually cost more at other places, but I have linked you to where you can get the lowest prices down below. Bottom line, let's check the scoreboard. These two phones are tied in display type, waterproofing, CPU, GPU, operating system, 5G connectivity, internal storage, reverse charging, SIM slots, and navigation support. Ulefone wins in main camera sensor type, image resolution, main camera aperture, front camera, calling runtime, wireless charging, weight, thickness, and headphone jack for a total score of 9. Blackview wins in screen size, screen resolution, military standard rating, RAM, main camera sensor size, video resolution, main camera pixel size, flash, battery size, standby running time, fast charging, size, and price. That is a total score of 13. The Blackview is your winner. Well, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Then check out this playlist for more rugged phone comparisons, and I will see you in the next video.